Okay, good morning all. Everyone getting the voice properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you see the next part of the syllabus in module 2, in the last class we have seen MOSFET internal capacitances and high frequency model we have seen. Okay. So this topic we have already covered, and also high frequency model we have seen. Okay. Now we will see the frequency response of a CS amplifier. So why do we need actually to study this topic? First, we should understand. So in earlier cases, whatever we have seen the CS amplifier, there we have not taken any consideration, okay, of frequency variation. Actually, the gain of the CS amplifier, what is the gain? Amplifier gain, that is V naught by V signal. I will show you in the circuit. So actually it varies. It depends on the frequencies of the input signal. So if you are having a different kind of input signal, then also you will have a different gain of the CS amplifier. Okay, so this topic we'll be finishing in today's class. Okay, and the next class we'll see the oscillators. So in this two class and in the next class we will cover the module 2. After that we'll start the module 3. So okay, anyone see the frequency response of the amplifier? So you understood why we are going to study the frequency response of the amplifier. The first reason is that dependence of the gain of MOSFET common source amplifier. Common source means CS amplifier. CS stands for common source. Dependence of the gain of the MOSFET common source amplifier on the frequency of the input signal. As I told you, that actually earlier we have discarded this concept, but the thing is that the gain of the MOSFET CS amplifier depends on the input frequency signal. Okay, so how it will depend and how it will behave for different input signal of frequency we'll see in this class. Also, we have considered that the coupling capacitor CC1. This is the coupling capacitor CC1, and this is also a coupling capacitor CC2, and this is the bypass capacitor CS. There we have considered that they were acting as a perfect short circuit when we studied the equivalent circuit model. Okay, so this also we have made an assumption, but depending on the frequency, it will act as a short circuit and open circuit. It will not always act as a short circuit. Okay. Also, internal capacitances CGS and CGD were neglected. We have seen, and that's why we have modified the small signal equivalent model by considering the CGS and CGD. So actually, whatever these assumptions we have made, or these assumptions, okay. So whatever these assumptions we have made, actually it is applicable only for mid-range of frequency. These assumptions are only valid in mid-region of frequency. Okay, that is actually in all the cases in the previously all the cases that was the frequency of our interest. We were interested in those frequencies only. Okay. Now, what about the low frequency band? What about the high frequency band? See, so you can see that in the mid range, the gain is almost constant. The gain is almost constant. You can see for the MOSFET, and in for this the mid band range, these are the assumptions we have made. Okay. No, but we have not addressed the issues where input signal is having a frequency less than FL and also a frequency greater than FH. This diagram, as you can see, this diagram actually represents a frequency response of a CS amplifier. You can see for a frequency range of FL to FH, between FL to FH, it is almost constant. Okay, the gain is the frequency and the CS amplifier gain is almost constant. But here, if you are moving away from FL in the negative side, that means if you are on the left hand side of FL, that means if you are having a frequency which is lesser than FL, there also the gain is getting decreased. Gain falls. The gain fall. Here also gain falls. Now, if you are going above beyond the frequency range FH, okay, in this region, okay, there also the amplifier gain falls. So here in lower region there is some other reason for the falling of the gain of the amplifier. In the high frequency range there is some other reason. So what is the reason? Here the gain fall is due to CC1, CS and CC2. Okay. So how due to these effect of the capacitances in the low frequency range, the gain fall will be there. And here due to the CGS and CGD, gain fall will be here. So we'll drive the corner frequency for. So what we'll do for low frequency band and for high frequency band, we will derive the value FL and FH and also find the corner frequency, and we will see how it is falling due to the CC1, CS, and C2 in the case of low frequency band, and why it is falling due to CGS and CGD in the high frequency band. Now this is the bandwidth we already know. The bandwidth is defined FH minus FL. So these are the some terms, some results of the amplifier for the mid range. Already we have seen this results already. Mid band gain that is represented by AM corresponds to the overall voltage gain. So overall voltage and VG is nothing but V naught by C signal. AM is V naught by V signal that is divided by minus RG, because this is actually the formula is R in divided by R in plus RHIG. But for CS amplifier, R in is equal to RG. So AM will be equal to minus RG divided by RG plus RSIG into GM and into RO parallel RD parallel RA. This expression we have already seen. So now they have explained that gain falls off in the low frequency range because as frequency decreases, capacitive impedance XC increases. Okay, so because all these things, the thing is that earlier we were considering that as a short circuit. Okay, earlier we are considering the capacitances CS1, C2, and CS acting as a short circuit. But you know that if you decrease the frequency, its capacitance will increase. Its capacitance will increase, and it will not further act as a short circuit. That is why, due to that reason, the gain will decrease. Okay. So this is for the low frequency range. And what about the high frequency range? Let's see here. Gain falls off in the high frequency range because at high frequency range the capacitive impedance of CGS and CGD increases. Decreases. So earlier we were considering that is the CGS and CGD is available capacitive, but you know that at high frequency, its impedance or is the capacitance will decrease. So earlier in all the cases, we were considering that as an open circuit, but in high frequency load, it won't. It will not act as it will not act like a open circuit. Rather, it will be acting as a short circuit or something in between. Okay, that is the main reason. So again, I repeat. In the low frequency again, the gain fall is due to the fact that CC1, CC2, and CC and CS will no longer act as a short circuit. Rather, it will be other than a short circuit. Okay. In the high region, why the gain decreases there? Because CGS and CGD will no longer be acting as an open circuit. So this is the main reason. So FL is the frequency that which gain drops by 3 dB below the mid-range mid-band gain value. So you know how to find the FL and FH. So FL and FH already I've told you in the previous classes while discussing filters. So at this we are having a frequency. Now from here we take minus 3 dB and also from taking minus 3 dB. So this frequency at which it is cutting the this curve, that is called FL, and here it will be at the higher range, it is called FH. Okay. And the gain, so one term we will be having. So bandwidth is also gain bandwidth product, GB, that is represented by GB. Gain bandwidth product, that is represented by GB, that is AM, that is the amplifier gain, AM into PW bandwidth. This term is also having some importance. We'll see it later. So now let us analyze the high frequency response of a CS amplifier. So this is actually what is figure A. Figure is the small signal equivalent model. Okay, while we consider the CGD and CGS clear. So let us see at high frequency, the capacitor CC1, CC2, and CS will behave as perfect short circuit. So in high frequency, the capacitor CC1, CC2, CS will behave as a perfect short circuit. It is clear. You know the fact now that at very high frequency, the capacitors act as a short circuit, and very low frequency it acts as a open circuit. I think this concept you will be knowing. So since we are analyzing the high frequency response, so we'll be studying the effects of this CS amplifier circuit under the high frequency input. Okay. So in this situation, what will happen? The capacitor CC1, CC2, and CS will behave as a perfect short circuits. Okay. So therefore, the resultant high frequency amplifier equivalent circuit is given below. So this is the equivalent amplifier, equivalent small circuit. Okay, where this capacitor CC1, CC2, and CS has been shorted. You can see there is no CC1, CC2, CCS, CS because that has been shorted. Okay. So only we'll be having the two capacitances CGD and CGS. Okay. Now this is the again the equivalent G and VGS. This is the current source. This is the R naught. This is the RD. This is the RL. This is V output. And this okay, this I missed actually. This I missed here. All of you. What is this? This is VSIG. This is VSIG. Clear? You can all of you make note. This voltage source. This voltage source is VSIG. Clear? This one. This one. Okay, VSIG. Clear? So actually in this diagram, I forgot to mention this this source. This is actually VSIG. All of you make a note. Okay. So now this is a circuit diagram. In this circuit diagram, only the CGD and CGS capacitance are there. Other capacitance have been removed because it is being short circuited. Now, if you will see, this is the left hand side of the equivalent circuit, okay, and this is right hand side of the equivalent circuit. So if you Theveninize the left hand side of the equivalent circuit, okay, Thevenin. So what will happen? Now, by simplifying the above circuit by using Thevenin theorem at the input side, left hand side is actually the input side, and by combining the three parallel. So if you will Theveninize the input side of this above circuit, then what will happen? The voltage source actually, the voltage source. So we will see what is the voltage source. The voltage source here will be this the voltage across this RG gate resistance. This okay. What is the voltage across this gate resistance? So this again, this is the single voltage source that is being divided by RSIG and RG. So here we will end up having the voltage source across RG as RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG. Clear? Clear? And you can see this RSIG dash. So this resistance and this resistance actually, if you'll find Thevenin is Thevenin, find the Thevenin equivalent, then the equivalent resistance will be RSIG, that is represented by R dash SIG, that should be equal to RSIG parallel RG. So the parallel it is actually in parallel. Okay. So if you find the Thevenin equivalent of this combination of RSIG and RG, it will be equal to RSIG parallel RG. From here, that has been named as R dash SIG. R dash SIG. You can see here. Okay. So left hand side, you have you have used Thevenin theorem, and you have simplified the input side or left hand side or input side of the circuit. Okay. So till this part. So this part. Okay. So this input side you have given, you have simplified using Thevenin theorem. Now right hand side you can see, R naught, RD, and RL are parallel. So we can represent this these sets of resistances using some equivalent resistance. Okay, that has been done this side. So and it has been named as RL dash, and it has been named as RL dash, which is equal to R naught parallel RD parallel RL. So if you will compare this two circuit diagram, So if you compare this to circuit diagram, this original circuit diagram and this circuit diagram, then no difference is there. The thing is that first thing, the input side has been simplified using Thevenin circuit, where the input equivalent voltage is VSIG into RG divided by RG plus RSIG. Okay, this is the Thevenin equivalent voltage, and the equivalent resistance actually will be. You can find that is this combination RSIG and RG is in parallel. If you will see from this side, then and remove this power source and short circuit it, this which we are doing because from the basics of Thevenin theorem, then this RSIG and RG will be in parallel. So the equivalent of that will be represented as R dash SIG, and it will be equal to R SIG parallel RG. Clear? And this side actually it is nothing but the we have replaced this three set of resistance by its equivalent resistance RL dash. Okay, which is nothing but equal to R naught parallel RD parallel R. So this is your frequency. This is your figure B. Okay, simplified version of figure A. Now see at frequency FH. At frequency FH. Okay, so what is the frequency FH? So here this side higher end, here this frequency. Okay, but frequency at FH, it is reasonable to assume IGD is very less than GM-VGS. It's very less than GM into VGS. Actually, the gate to gate to drain volt current actually at high frequency is very less. You know, gate to drain current is very less than the GM-VGS. So how we can find the V naught? Okay, how we can find the V naught? We can also see directly from the circuit diagram. We can see also from this circuit diagram of a figure V at the output side. This is the V output. This is the V output. And how to find the V output? Now the current flowing in this branch is this one. Okay, you can see GM-VGS is the one. So if you will take, if you will change the direction, if you want to have the current in this direction moving in this upward, so it will be minus VGM into VGS. It will be minus VGM into VGS. So that same current is flowing through RL dash. Okay, that same current is flowing through RL dash. So the voltage drop across RL dash will be the RL dash into GM VGS minus GM VGS here. That is nothing but the output voltage here. Okay, so the output voltage can be approximated as minus of GM into VGS. This current, okay, the current is following here. The current will be following here, okay, like this. And because this current IGD, so I already mentioned that IGD has been considered very much lesser than GM VGS. So actually at this junction, if you will analyze here, the current you will be getting will be equal to GM minus GM VGS plus IGD. Here in this branch, like the resultant current will be equal to minus GM into VGS plus IGD, but IGD is very much less than GM VGS. So only you can assume that only the current minus GM VGS is following here. I'm only just minus GM VGS is following here. As a result, the output voltage will be equal to the current into resistance. So the current is minus GM into VGS, and the resistance is RL dash. RL dash. So the output voltage can be approximated as minus GM into VGS into RL dash, or it should be equal to minus GM RL dash into VGS. So this is equation number 1. This is equation number 1. Now also from the above circuit, the current IGD can be found as. So how we can find the current IGD? So now, so this is the current. This is the current. This is the current IGD. How we can find the current IGD? So IGD can be obtained as S. This is the Laplace operator S. Okay, this is the Laplace operator S. S into CGD. This S into CGD. Okay, this capacitor into VS. It is actually VGS. That is VGS. VGS. This is VGS. All of you should know. Make a note. This is VGS. Clear? This is VGS. minus V naught minus V naught. So actually, this is the voltage you are having. So now, so you know that if you're having a branch or a network where the voltage across it is VGS, where the one terminal voltage is VGS, another terminal is V naught. Here we can say that here at this junction, all of you see, at this junction, the voltage across this node is VGS. Okay, we can see here, see the voltage here. Okay, VGS, here the voltage is VGS, and here the voltage is V naught. Here the voltage is V naught, and the capacitance across this network is CGD, and the capacitance this network is CGD. So between the terminal, if you are having a voltage V1 and V2, and if you are having a capacitor C, then what is the value of the current in that network? It will be, if you'll find the current using Laplace, that it will be S into C, S into C into V1 minus V2. Clear? That same concept has been used here. So here IGT can be similarly confined. So here the IGT can be equal to S into CGD. Okay, S is the Laplace operator, CGD is the resistance of this network, this branch, and the difference between the two these nodes where the branch is connected. So this here, this is the VGS, and here this is V naught. So we can write IGD as S into CGD into VGS minus V naught. Clear? So, so now V naught, we have already seen that V naught is minus Gm RL dash VGS. Substitute this value of V naught here in this equation, then you will you can have the value of IGD as, by substituting the value of V naught from equation 1 here in this equation, you will find that we will have the value of IGD as S into CGD into VGS minus Gm RL dash VGS, bracket close and square bracket close. Which if you will simplify, you will get S into CGD into 1 plus Gm RL dash into VGS. So this is equation 2. So any doubt in having this equation? This is very much clear. Okay, simple. Now CGD, the capacitance between gate and drain. CGD means the capacitance. This is the internal capacitance. So this is the internal capacitance between gate and drain. So now the CGD at XX dash, circuit diagram of the figure B, you can see. So this is the XX dash means this is just XX dash has been just used to show the show that this part of the circuit, okay, this part of the circuit that we're seeing, this one, okay, it's just used. It is not a part of the XX dash, is not a part of the circuit. It is just a representation of a something to indicate some part of the circuit. Okay, the CGD at XX dash of circuit diagram in figure B can be replaced by an equivalent capacitance CEQ. Okay, CEQ between the gate and the ground, between the gate and the ground. So you should read this one and understand this thing very clearly. Instead of writing CGD, we will replace this capacitance by some other capacitance that is C equivalent. Okay, and that actually that capacitance will be connected between gate and ground. Here this capacitance is connected between this terminal and this terminal. Okay, you can see the capacitance CGD here is connected between this terminal and this terminal. Instead of using CGD, we will replace this capacitance by C equivalent, and it will be connected between gate and ground. It will be connected between uh, gate and ground. Okay, but the thing is that whatever current that CGD is following here, okay, whatever current that CGD is drawing here, the same current will be drawn by that equivalent resistance also. Okay, so you have to choose the value of C equivalent such that it should be connected to ground, gate and ground. Okay, here is the gate and this is the ground. So you should rather be so what we're making the changes instead of connecting the capacitances between these two terminal, we are changing this capacitance, and we are replacing it by C equivalent, and it's connecting it, and it is that is being connected between gate and ground. Okay, I'll show you in the circuit diagram. But the current flowing in that C equivalent, which should be equal to IGD. Okay, here, see here, here, here this circuit diagram. If you compare this circuit diagram and this circuit diagram, okay, here C equivalent. So we have removed CGD, but we have used C equivalent that has been connected between gate and ground. But the same IGD will be following here. So you have to find the value of C equivalent such that the same IGD current should be drawn in this network. Now, how to find the value of that C equivalent? That is very clear, very easy to see. So, so this equation S into C equivalent into VGS, actually, you see here in this original circuit, S into CGD, S into C equivalent into VGS is equal to. So actually, what is this expression? What is this expression? This is the expression for IGD. This expression, if you'll see, this is the expression for IGD from equation 2. So this is the IGD, and this is also the expression of IGD for modified circuit. So S into C equivalent into VGS actually is this term represents the value or the quantity IGD. S into C equivalent into VGS. Okay. So here, if you find the current IGD, so how we can find the current IGD in this branch from gate to this from gate to ground? How we can find so? So again, if you will find that is S into C equivalent, and the potential and the voltage different across this the two terminal gate and ground. So since the potential at ground is 0, so only VGS term is there. Okay, or we can write this term as S into C equivalent into VGS minus V naught, that will be minus 0, because the voltage at ground is 0. So if you will remove the 0, what you will get? S into C equivalent into VGS. Clear? This is the IGD in this circuit, and this is the IGD that you have obtained from equation 2 for this circuit. So that we have equated for to find the value of C equivalent, and from this equation you can have the value of C equivalent as, if you will simplify this above 1, you will get C equivalent at CGD 1 plus GM into RL dash. Okay. So if you are having this circuit, and if you want to convert the circuit into this one, okay, in this manner, then you have to find the value of C equivalent. Then you have to replace the CGD by C equivalent, whose value should be equal to CGD into 1 plus GM into RL dash. Clear? So now this is the circuit diagram we have further modified. So in figure C, now you can see have the figure we are having a voltage source whose value is RG into RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG. This is the input resistance R dash SIG. So R dash SIG, already we have seen what is the value of R dash SIG. That is RG parallel R SIG. Okay, then CGS we know the value of CGS. Then C equivalent we have seen what is the value of C equivalent. GM, VGS, we know that V naught, put in all those things. So we are having this final circuit. Here, this actually, if you'll see, this is the C in. There is a input capacitance. Okay, input capacitance. So we know that what is the parallel combination of the capacitance? How to find? As for parallel combination, actually, we will have, for example, if you're having two parallel combinations C1 and C2 of a capacitance, that equivalent capacitance will be C1 plus C2. We know that. Okay, similarly, since you can see here, CGS and C equivalent are connected in parallel, so the equivalent resistance of this combination will be Cin, that can be represented as equivalent CEQ plus CGS. Clear? That has been shown here. Okay. So from above STC, so STC circuit, what is STC? Single time constant. Okay, at the input side. So if you will find the equivalent of this capacitive network, that is C in. So if replaced by C in, that input side you are having a voltage source. Okay, here also see, here also I miss the ground. Here also I miss the ground. Well, if you pay attention, ground terminal will be there here. Okay, ground connection will be here. So if you will see this connection at the input side, what components you are having? You are having the voltage source, you are having the one resistance, and you are having equivalent capacitance with capacitance. So that is a single time constant circuit. So for the above STC circuit at the input side, the output voltage VGS and the input voltage V signal can be related as uh, the output voltage VGS and SIG. Simply you just see how we can relate VGS and SIG. So VGS is equal to VGS equal to, you can see VGS is equal to, so we have to find the voltage VGS here. This is the voltage across VGS. This VGS is the voltage across CGS, and also the same voltage we are having across C equivalent. Okay, so the VGS is the voltage across CGS and C equivalent. So how we can find that? Similar, just very easy. So that is VGS. You consider this as a network of capacitance. Okay, capacitance, which is having a equivalent resistance C in, which is having a C in. So we can write VGS as RG. So this is the voltage source. RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG into 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught. S by omega naught. This is the VGS. Okay. So VGS can be found as RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG into 1 by S 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught. Now why we are using this term? Why we are using this term? So we very well know that for such circuit type, for HTC circuit type, we can write the transfer function of VGS or this term easily as this one. Okay, so this is the main voltage source into 1 by 1 plus S omega naught. Clear? So for this thing now you can refer. I will tell you. You can refer to the Sidra Smith in appendix. You can refer to appendix D. You can refer to have the concept of this one. Okay. So now let us see what is W naught. Where W naught is the corner or break frequency. Where W naught is the corner or break frequency, and so W naught is actually, we call it the corner or break frequency. That is 1 by C in R dash SIG. So if you replace this input equivalent resistance by C in, whose value is C equivalent plus CGS, then this corner frequency will be given by 1 by C in. This is C in between this one and R dash SIG. Okay, so this is your the value of W naught with C in equal to CGS plus C equivalent or CGS plus CGD 1 plus GM into RL dash. This is actually the value of CGS. Okay, so if you simplify, you can get the value of C in as equation 6, and R dash SIG. Already we know that it is R SIG parallel RG. Okay. So this is the value of VGS. Now how to find the gain? How to find the SES amplifier gain? So what is the actually SES amplifier gain? That is V naught by V signal. V naught by V signal. What is the value for V naught? What is the value for V naught? We have seen. So the value for V naught is minus GM RL dash VGS. That is from equation number 1. And what is the value for V? What is the value for VSIG? We just see. So the value for VSIG and equation 7. So using equation 1 and equation 7, so RSIG so Since we're using equation 1 and 7, just a minute. So this is the value actually. For V naught we have used, the term minus GM into RL dash and VGS, okay? And then for VSIG, so VSIG, you know what is the value for VSIG? VSIG we have seen from the study of that characterizing of the amplifier. So what is VSIG? VSIG, how we can find the value of VSIG? It is very clear now. VSIG, if you will see that in the previous class, VSIG is VSIG. I will show you. So here, if you find the value of VSIG, here VSIG is and VGS. If you want to have the value of VGS, then how we can find? It will be RSIG divided by RG plus RSIG into VGS. Clear? Same relation if you will use here, then you will get RG. So here, see here. Actually, here you see this equation VGS. So from here we can find the value from equation 4. From equation 4, all of you pay attention here. From equation 4, since we know this equation 4, from here we can find the value of VSIG. So VSIG will be equal to VGS VGS divided by RG, okay, divided by RG into RG plus SIG. If you simplify the value of VSIG from this equation, okay, so simply what you have to do, you have to find the value, you have to find the expression for VSIG from equation number 4, and you substitute here, in the ratio of V naught by VSIG. So V naught, we know that V naught is actually, already we know that it is minus GM RL dash VGS, and VSIG you get the value from here from equation 4 and substitute, and you simplify this ratio V naught by VSIG, then you will have this term. This will have this right hand side of this expression of equation 8, okay, and that will be equal to minus RG divided by RG plus RSIG into GM into RL dash into 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught, 1 by S plus omega naught, where omega naught actually is the FH. Omega naught is equal to, actually, we have seen that, no? Omega naught is actually the corner frequency, or break frequency. This frequency. This is actually the FH, okay? So separately, I have also drawn the frequency response from where you can see. So if you will simplify this term, so this whole term, RG divided by RG plus RSIG into GM into RL is actually defined as AM, gain amplifier. It is actually defined as gain amplifier, okay? And so V naught by V in VSIG can be ultimately written as AM divided by 1 plus S by omega H. S by omega H. Clear? So V naught by VSIG is equal to AM divided by 1 plus S by omega H. So you can see that the gain, so the gain high frequency gain of the amplifier actually depends on the value of S and WH also. So it will actually, if you further analyze that, it will have, you will see that omega naught is actually the cutoff frequency at high frequency range, that is represented as the omega H. That is so the value of omega H 1 by C into R dash SIG. So if you want to have a FH from omega H, how we can do so? Is that we can do it by just using the relation that FH is equal to omega H by 2 pi, or FH is equal to 1 by 2 pi C in R dash SIG. Okay. So equation 8 and 9 represents the high frequency voltage of the CS amplifier. So this equation 8 and 9, actually any equation, either you can write 8 or you can write 9. If you're being asked to write the high frequency voltage gain of the CS amplifier, but if you use this equation 9, and then you have to define what is A. What is A? And you can see the frequency response of the high frequency response of the CS amplifier. See, after the value of FH, you can see it is decreasing at the rate of minus 20 dB per decade. Okay, and this is the gain of the amplifier V naught by VSIG in dB. So before FH it is almost constant. Okay, and after that it is decreasing. So now, in the meantime, anyone having any doubt, they can ask me, and all of you write your USN number in the chat box for attendance. All of you write your USN number in the chat box who are present here. And if anyone is having any doubt, you can ask me now. It is very important. Anyone having any doubt? Anyone having any doubt? So I will just scroll down once again. This is the high frequency response. So this is actually the circuit diagram, first circuit diagram that we have considered by ignoring CC1, CC2, and CS. Why we have ignored all these capacitance and we replaced by short circuit? Because at a high frequency, all these capacitance will work as a short circuit. Clear? Now what we have done? We have simplified the input side and output side. Okay. After simplification, we got the circuit. Now again, we have replaced this CGD by a capacitance C equivalent by making some assumptions. But the current should IGD in both the cases should be equal. So for that, we find the value of C equivalent. Okay, we got the value of C equivalent like this. Okay, clear? Now we find the VGS. So what is the value of VGS? VGS will be equal to RG into RG plus RSIG into VSIG into 1 by 1 plus S omega naught. This is actually the STC circuit. For STC circuit, this is the VGS. How this is the voltage at capacitor we can get. Okay, so this is the voltage of the capacitor. Now from here we can define the corner frequency, that is nothing but omega naught, that is 1 by C in R dash SIG. And what is C and C is nothing but it is which is equivalent of CGS and C equivalent. So ultimately we can find the value of V naught by by VSIG as, so V naught is we have already seen in question 1, V naught is minus GM RL dash VGS and VSIG from here. So from equation 4 we can find the value of VSIG. Okay, we can solve for VSIG and substitute the value here. If you will do so, you will end up having the relation V naught will be VSIG as minus RG divided by RG plus RSIG into GM RL dash into 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught. Okay, clear? So this is actually equation, it is actually the high frequency voltage gain equation of the CS amplifier, and this is the frequency response. Any doubt? Any doubt? Don't leave the class. Some important announcement I have to make. Any doubt? So the important thing is that in this topic, some tricky part is that how to find the C equivalent. Okay, how to find the C equivalent, so that we can do using equation this 3 and also this equation 4. How you are getting this equation 4? So if you have studied the STC circuit, single time constant circuit, where you are having the component R and C, where you are having the component R and C, in that case the voltage across the capacitor. So for example, if you're having a circuit, where the voltage supply voltage is V, and you're having a resistance, single resistance and single capacitance, in that case the voltage across capacitance you can find as DC is equal to V into 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught, 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught, where omega naught will be equal to 1 by C into R. Clear? Anyone having any doubt in having the Bj solution in given in equation 4. So we dealt with the frequency response of a CS amplifier. So there we are interested in three bands. Okay, actually we will analyze the frequency response in three bands. The first band is the mid band, second is high frequency band, and the low frequency band. The mid band actually what where we have studied all till now is actually where we considered that as a mid band. So in the yesterday class we discussed the high frequency response. Today we'll be discussing the low frequency response of a CS amplifier. CS means common source amplifier. Okay. Since source term is there, see, since source, common source, so source actually term is associated with MOSFET. So actually it is CS amplifier using MOSFET. Clear? So I will just revise whatever we have seen in the last class. Then I will start the low frequency response for this topic, low frequency response. So actually we started high frequency response yesterday and we got the equation. Okay, where we came to derive the corner frequency for high frequency response, means the cutoff frequency for high frequency response. After that frequency, the amplifier gain is getting attenuated or it is getting decreased. Okay, so what is the factors we have already discussed? Again, I will discuss in nutshell. Just listen. So this is actually a small signal equivalent model for a MOSFET CS amplifier. So this is actually a small signal equivalent model for a MOSFET, considering all the internal capacitances. Internal capacitance means CGD, CGS, and all those things. Now, since we're analyzing the high frequency response, so at high frequency response, the capacitor CC1, CC2, and CS will act as a short circuit. So that has not been shown. Okay, all that is capacitor where we are having CC1, CC2, and CS is being short circuited. So again, you will end up in having this circuit diagram. Now this is the input side of the circuit. This is input side of the circuit, clear? And this is the output side of the circuit. Now we have simplified the input side of the circuit using Thevenin theorem. So how to find the equivalent Thevenin resistance for this one, for this side, okay? For this input side, if we will see from this side, okay, from this side. So what will be the equivalent Thevenin resistance? It will be RSIG parallel to RG. That is the Thevenin equivalent resistance. And what will be the Thevenin voltage? So since we are seeing from this side, from the side of RG, okay, from the right hand side of RG, so actually we have to find the voltage terminal across RG. So what is the voltage across RG? So how we can get that voltage? Using voltage divider rule. So in that case, the voltage across RG or the Thevenin voltage for the input side will be this VSIG. Here this is actually VSIG. Already I told you that VSIG I left writing. This is actually VSIG. This is VSIG. So it will be VSIG into RG divided by RG plus RSIG. Clear? Okay. So input side can be simplified like that. Also the output side. So you can see the three resistances are connected in parallel: R0, RD, and RL. So that can be also replaced by with its equivalent resistance, that is R0 parallel RD parallel RL. So if you will incorporate the simplification both in the input side and output side, then we will end up in having this circuit diagram. Okay, this circuit diagram, clear? So here the voltage actually Thevenin voltage will be RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG. Already I explained how you are getting this voltage. Now this equivalent Thevenin resistance has been represented by R dash SIG. It is represented by R dash SIG. SIG means signal. That is equal to RSIG parallel RG. That is also clear. Now this CGS is the same capacitance that you are having, and this CGD is the same capacitance you are having. CGD and CGS is corrected in the same way as they are corrected in the previous circuit. Okay. Now this CGM VGS, GM VGS is also in the same way, and RL. So RL dash actually is the equivalent parallel combination of both RD of all the three RD, RL and R naught. So RL dash can be written as RL dash is equal to R naught parallel RD parallel RL. This is the simplified circuit diagram. Now again, one more change we have to do in this circuit. So what change we have to do? We have to convert that CGD. We have to change this CD, or we have to replace this capacitance CGD such that one end of that capacitor should be connected to ground, and other end of that capacitor should be sorry. We should replace the CGD by some capacitance, other capacitance, in such a way that its one end, this side, should be connected to gate, and other side of that capacitor should be connected to ground. So we have named that capacitor as C equivalent, CEQ. Okay, and also the condition should be followed that the same ID current should be following. Same IGD current should be following. So if you will do so, then how we can find the value of that capacitance C equivalent? So by using this relation we can find. Okay, since IGT is this value, and if we use C equivalent, then we can establish this relationship. Okay, that is, and the current from gate to ground, that is, this is actually current for IGD when we use a C equivalent capacitance instead of CGD, and this is the value of IGD when we are using the capacitance CGD. Okay, so we will equate both the current, because both are same, that is IGD only, and using this relation we can find C equivalent, that is CGD 1 plus GM RL dash. Okay, so now substitute this capacitance, yeah, in place of CGD. So you end up in having this circuit diagram. Okay, you will end up in having this circuit diagram. So this is the final circuit diagram from where we will be deriving the equation. From where we will be deriving the equation. Okay, clear? Now, so I told you that you already studied the single time constant circuit. You know, if you're having a series RC circuit, okay. So there you can find what is the corner frequency in that case. Okay. Now analyze this circuit. All of you should see the input side of this circuit on the circuit of the figure C. Here you can see there is a one voltage source. Okay, this terminal is connected to ground. Okay, this terminal is connected to ground. You should remember. So this is a voltage source whose value is RE divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG. There is a one resistance whose value is R dash SIG, and also in that network there is a capacitance CGS and C equivalent. So we can replace these two capacitance by its equivalent resistance. By its equivalent capacitance. Okay. So if the two capacitances are connected in parallel, then how to find that its equivalent? It is just by adding it up. Okay. So since the capacitance CGS and C equivalent are connected in parallel, so the equivalent resistance, the single one equivalent resistance for these two resistance will these two capacitance will be CIN. There is C input, that will be equal to CEQ plus CGS. So now if you substitute this one, then what you can have? You can have one single source, one voltage source, one resistors, and one capacitors. Now this is the one RC network with voltage. Okay. So in that case, how to find the voltage across the capacitor using this relation? Okay. So that VGS is equal to uh, voltage source. Okay, that is a voltage source B divided by 1 plus S by omega naught. In this way we can find the voltage across the capacitor. Now the voltage V here is not simply V, it is RG divided by RG plus RSIG into VSIG. Okay, so that has been replaced here. Divided by 1 plus 1 divided by 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught, where omega naught is equal to 1 by C in R dash SIG. So you know now how this relation is coming. If you will find the transfer function, if you define the circuit. Anyone want to join from outside? So actually, if you are having a circuit in a series circuit, RC series circuit, then we can have the voltage across capacitor as VGS, or a VGS is equal to V into 1 plus S by omega naught, where omega naught is equal to 1 by C in uh, into R dash SIT. So actually, from where you will get this equation? If you simply analyze the circuit using the S variable, then there you can get this equation. Okay. Now, from equation 4, you can find out the expression for VSIG in term of VGS. From equation 4, you can find the expression for VSIG in term of VGS. Okay. So this, now you are having the VSIG also, and directly come to this here. So now using equation 1 and 7, we can find the ratio of V naught by VSIG. That is the overall voltage gain, GB. Okay, V naught by VSIG. So what is V naught? V naught, already we know that V naught is minus GM into RL dash into VGS. Substitute that value. And what is SIG? If we will substitute VSIG, let's find for VSIG from here, then you will get VSIG as RG plus RSIG divided by RG into uh, 1 by 1 plus S by omega naught. Okay, like that. So if you simplify that equation, V naught by VSIG, you will end up in having this whole expression. You will end up in having this whole expression. Here you can make a note that the term VGS is not there. The term VGS is not there because term VGS is also available in V naught and also in ESIG. So that got cancelled. Okay, if you simplify that, it will get cancelled, and you will end up in having this equation. This is actually the amplifier gain equation for a CS amplifier for a high frequency response. We can see that the amplifier that this ratio is actually depending on the this S variable S. So if you increase the frequency, anyhow it will get affected. So this can be rearranged as V naught by VSIG as AM by 1 by S by omega h, where omega h is the cutoff frequency, and AM is that this is the AM, the AM amplifier, and this is the frequency response of a CS amplifier in high frequency range. You can see after that high frequency cutoff range, it is decreasing. Okay, the gain ratio, that V naught by VSIG, the ratio is decreasing. So clear? This is just a summary that I have presented. Just a repetition of the last class. So any doubt you are having, can ask me, or not. If not, then we'll start the low frequency response. Okay. So a low frequency response. So see, already we have seen the CS amplifier, common source amplifier with and without gate resistance. Consider without source resistance. So this is the amplifier we have seen. Already I have taken the class, okay, and discussed the common source amplifier and its signal analysis already we have done. Okay, so this is actually the circuit diagram. Now, if you see the circuit diagram for analyzing the low frequency response, what we have first done, you have to remove all the DC components, because at the low frequency response means on those DC component you have to remove, and only the VSIG will be there. So if you will remove that, then first thing what will be there, you have to consider. So let us start. So low frequency response. So consider a CS amplifier circuit whose DC sources are eliminated by making current source I open circuit and voltage source VDD short circuited. Okay, so to make the analysis of the CS amplifier at low frequency response, the thing is that first we should need to remove the DC component. So if you remove the DC component, what we can do? What is this? The DC power supply VDD. So how to remove? How we can remove this VDD? But directly by short circuiting it. Okay, we can just by short circuit. Okay, and the current source, you know that if you want to remove the current source, then in that case what will happen? It will be open circuited. Okay, so in this circuit, if you will remove all the DC components, then you will end up in having end up in having this circuit. Okay, you can end up in having this circuit. Okay, clear. So all of you see here. Here you can see that I is not there. The current source I is not there because it is being open circuited, and here it is directly grounded because there is a VDD is has been shorted. Okay, so this is the reason. Okay, so this is your circuit diagram from where we will be analyzing the low frequency response. Figure A. Now also R naught is also ignored. Keep the analysis simple. R naught also being ignored. Keep the signal analysis. So wherever possible, we have seen from our past experience that whenever possible, we are ignoring R naught because to keep the analysis simple. And if you know if R naught is appearing, that output resistance will be parallel to R naught. That's all. So that's it. Now start the analysis. So VG appearing at the transistor gate. So this is the VSIG and the VG is the voltage, a gate voltage appearing at the transistor gate. This is the circuit diagram again you are having. So consider this input side. Okay, this is the circuit diagram. Consider this network. Consider this network where you are having one voltage source VSIG, where you are having RSIG, where you are having RSIG, that internal resistance of the signal, then CC1, that is the coupling capacitor, and then this is the gate resistance. So now, if I want to find the voltage VG here, VG voltage means the voltage across RG, and how many passive elements are there? 1, 2, 3. Now again, by using voltage divider rule, you can find the voltage across VG. So in term of Laplace variable, VG can be defined as VSIG main voltage into RG divided by RG plus RSIG plus 1 by SCC1. So you know that. So this equation we got from voltage divider rule, and this is the three capacitance. This is the three impedance we are having the circuit. The first this one is for from this impedance is from resistance RG. This one is this impedance we got from the capacitance CC1, and this impedance we got from resistor RSIG. So if you write using S variable, then the impedance for the capacitance can be written as 1 by SCC1. Clear? So this is the voltage across the gate. So VG appearing at the transistor gate. Now this equation can be rearranged in the form of 1. So this equation is nothing. This equation, whatever we got, has been rearranged in this format. So we can write also VG as equal to VSIG RG divided by RG plus RSIG into S divided by S plus 1 by CC1 into RG plus RSIG. So this arrangement has been done. You should actually make a note of this arrangement. This arrangement has been done to find the corner frequency. Okay. So equation 1 resembles the transfer function of an STC single time constant circuit. Actually, equation 1 you can analyze. You can see that is really represents transfer function of an STC network of a high pass type filter. High pass type. That means it is actually represent the STC for high pass filter. Earlier, whatever we have seen the transfer function for STC, that was for low pass. Okay. High pass with corner frequency. So what is corner frequency of omega naught? So what is the corner frequency here? Corner frequency here is omega naught as 1 by okay, this one. So this will be s by s plus omega naught, and omega naught is so therefore omega naught is equal to 1 by TC1 into RG plus RSIG, or we can represent this omega naught as WP1 also. WP1 whole. Okay, cool. So this is the question 1 and 2. Okay, clear? Any doubt? No. Similarly, the drain current ID can be obtained by dividing VG by total impedance in the source circuit. So whatever is the drain current? This is the drain current. Okay. How to find the drain current? How to find the drain current in source side? So this is your source side of the amplifier. As you will see, there are two impedance you can see, 1 by GM. So if you remove that the current source, that although you'll be having a internal resistance 1 by GM acting at the source side, so at source side you will be having two impedance. One will be 1 by GM this way, that has been indicated here. Okay, another impedance will be due to capacitance CS. Okay, so now how to find the current here? Simply the current can be represented as voltage by total impedance. Voltage by total impedance. That same relation has been used. So VGE. So what is the voltage across this terminal? This terminal, what is the voltage? Like nothing but the VG. Okay, same voltage VG. You can see here also. The voltage VG is for this one is same across this terminal also. The ID current will be equal to, therefore, the current ID will be equal to VG divided by 1 by GM plus 1 by CSCS. Okay, 1 by CSCS. Let me take. I think there is some mistake here. Here it will be SCS. I think S variable I have missed here. Just a minute. This actually, this is already I was telling you now. The term here is S. This one is S. You should make a note here. Change here because we know that the impedance for a capacitance can be represented as 1 by S into that C. Okay, it will be S. This is not C. All of you should make a change here. So when I will forward these notes to you for study, I'll correct the notes and then I will send. Okay, I will correct the notes and then I will send. Here S should be there. The variable Laplace variable S should be there. So ID will be equal to Vg divided by 1 plus Vg divided by 1 by Gm plus 1 by S into Cs. Okay. So if you further simplify this expression, you will end up in having the ID is equal to Gm into Vg divided Gm into Vg into S by S plus Gm by Cs. So again, this you can see this equation 3 is really representing a STC high pass type filter with corner frequency of omega p2, with a corner frequency of omega p2, that is omega p2 is equal to Gm by Cs. So this Cs actually, this suffix s Cs is not a you should make a note, and you should also keep in mind that this suffix is not a Laplace variable. Okay, it is just a suffix that is used for bypass capacitors. Okay, bypass capacitance. And this s is used for variable. This s is used as a Laplace variable. So ID can be written as ID is equal to Gm into Vg into S by S plus Gm by Cs. So this is the equation number 3. From here, if you find the corner frequency of this high pass first STC circuit, then what is the corner frequency? We have named that corner frequency as omega p2, that is equal to Gm by Cs. Okay, Gm by Cs. We got this corner frequency. Now also find the output voltage V0. So here, this is the output voltage V0. So how that can be found? So V0 output can be found as I0 into RL. I0 into RL. This is the I0 current. This is the I0 current into this is the load current. So I0 into RL, voltage is equal to current into load. So using that relation, we can find the I0. So I know I0 can be, so how the I0 can be written? I0 can be written as minus ID. You should, I will tell you how we are getting this expression. Minus ID divided by minus ID into RD divided by RD plus 1 by SC2 plus RL into RL. Now all of you see this circuit diagram. So here the ID current is here. ID current is following here. You can see, and here some current is I0 is there. So V naught is so the I naught actually can be written as minus ID. So ID is following here into RL into. So what are the passive components involved in this equation? We should first see what are the different passive components involved in this expression. So there's that RD is there, RL is there, and CC2 is there. So where is those components? So this RD is there, RL is there, and CC2 is there. So if you assume a current of flowing, some current is following I here, so that so I naught will be, for example, I here, then I naught, then this I will be equal to ID plus I naught. Okay, so that actually has be, from there we can find I naught. So so using again this one, current divider rule, current divider rule in the branch. Okay, so by using current divider rule to determine the fraction of ID that flows through RL, actually, then how we can use, that is will be minus ID into RD divided by RD plus 1 by SC2 plus RL into RL. So here, see here. So this is the current you are having. So actually the current here is minus ID. So this current is following ID. Then if we take opposite, the current following here will be minus ID in this direction. So how can you calculate the fraction of the current that is following here? So you know the current divider rule. If you want to find the current in this network, then you have to multiply the other resistance that is available in the other network. Okay, so the current actually following here is minus ID. Okay, because we have taken the reverse, so it will be minus ID into, since we have to find the current here, since we have to find the current here in this network, and the resultant of this network is nothing but the RL plus 1 by SCC2. Okay, so using the current divider rule, we can find the current in this network I naught as I naught is equal to minus ID, that is the main current, minus ID is the main current, into RD, that the current in the resistance of the other branch, in divided by RD, divided by sum of all the resistance or impedance, or divided by RD plus 1 by SCC2 plus RL. So same thing has been written here. Okay, so V naught is equal to I naught into RL. So this one is the value for, I naught. Clear? Anyone having any doubt in calculating the value for I naught? Anyone? How we are getting I naught as this expression? Anyone? Anyone? No. So again I will repeat. The main current following here is actually consider that as a ID minus ID. Okay, since the current following here is ID, it will take reverse. If you will take the current reverse, so this current actually following here is ID. You can see the direction, it is coming from top to bottom. Now at this junction, if we change the direction of the ID from bottom to top, okay, from bottom to top, like this one, okay, then what will happen, that this current will be minus ID. This current ID will be minus ID, because we have changed the correction. That ID is being divided into two parts. So that current, if ID is following in this way, then the minus ID will follow in this way, and that minus ID is being divided into two parts. One part of the ID minus ID will be going to RD. Okay, clear? And the other part of the remaining current of the minus ID will be going to this part. Okay, okay, clear? So Now, by using a current divider rule, since we are interested to find the current in this branch I naught, so how to find that? So that is equal to I naught will be equal to the main current. So main current here incoming at this point is minus ID into the resistance or the impedance of the branch, which in which we have to not find the resistance current. So it will be minus ID into RD divided by sum of all the impedance. Okay, so if you will do that, then you will end up in having the value for I naught. So I naught can be written as minus ID into RD divided by RD plus 1 by SC2 plus RL into RL. So again, this equation can be rearranged to find the corner frequency. So this equation is again rearranged as this one, okay, as this one. And here again, if you analyze again, the equation 5 is a represents the transfer function of a high pass STC with break frequency or corner frequency as omega p3 is equal to 1 by cc2 into rd plus rl. That is equation number 6. That is equation number 6. Now using equation 2 3 using equation 1, now now using equation 1 3 and 5. So what are the equations 1 3 and 5? This is the equation 1, this is the equation 1, okay, and this is the equation 3, okay, and this is the equation 5. So if you will see the equation 1 3 and 5, actually all are STC or our STC high pass, okay, all are STC high pass with having some corner frequency. So using that, we can find V naught by VSIG, V naught by VSIG. So V naught is this equation. V naught, we know V naught is this one from 5 V naught, the V naught. But what is VSIG? So from here we can write the expression for VSIG. From equation 1 we can find the value for VSIG, and then we can substitute. So once we'll substitute that values whatever we have obtained, okay, then V naught by VSIG will be RG divided by, first minus term will be there. The minus is coming from the because of minus ID. Okay, so RG divided by RG plus RSIG into GM into RD parallel RL into then all the three corner frequency, then all the three corner frequency. So overall transfer function can be written as, so overall transfer function can be written as this as 7. So how we obtain this expression? We should be always knowing that by using equation 1, 3, and 5. So V naught, we are having the expression for V naught. We are having the expression for VI. Okay, here you are having the expression for VSIG. Also, you are having the expression for ID. All those things, GM. Okay, so if you will substitute all these values in the ratio of V naught by VSIG to find that ratio, if you substitute all those things, you will end up in having this transfer function. You will end up in having this transfer function as represented by 7. As represented by 7. Clear? Everyone clear? Everyone? So actually equation 6 gives the frequency response, a low frequency response of a CS amplifier. Equation 6 gives the low frequency response of a CS amplifier. Now here, if we draw the low frequency response, you can see. So in the low frequency also, the gain gets attenuated, and also we are having three corner frequency. Here one there is one corner frequency. This is the second corner frequency. This is the third corner frequency. So this is actually FP1, FP2, FP3. So this actually FP1, FP2, FP3 depends on WP1, WP2, and WP3. So depending on the characteristic of the CS amplifier, that means the value of the resistances and capacitances, these frequency may interchange. Okay, in some cases, omega p1 may be greater than omega p2. In some cases, it may be reversed. It's also in some cases omega 3 can be greater than, and also it is vice versa is also possible. It depends on the just the values of those passive components. Here we have shown that FP1, the frequency of P1 is less than frequency FP3, which is less than frequency FP2. So here from first corner frequency. So if you plot on the frequency chart, you can find the values. Okay, you can find and plot it, and you can find that from the this first corner frequency this to this one, a decade, a slope attenuation will be there of 20 dB per decade. If you further move from this one to this one, then it will be a minus, it will be a 40 dB per decade. Okay, and if you will go beyond that from this one, then it will be 60 dB per decade. So addition of 40 dB per decade at different corner frequency will be there. You know that by the addition of one pole, there is a the one pole contributes to a decay of 20 dB per 20 dB per decade. Clear? So this is your frequency response of a low pass filter. Frequency response of a low pass filter. So any doubt? So if we combine equation 1, 3, and 5, then from there we can have this expression. From there, if we combine the equation 1, 3, and 5, then we can have the frequency response transfer function for a CS amplifier in the low frequency range. In the low frequency range. Any doubt?